Child, I don't even know if y'all heard me the whole time. I hope so. I hope so. I'm going to just start from where I'm at and hopefully y'all heard me, okay? But we will think, because of what we have learned in religion, because of what we have been taught in tradition, this remedial way of thinking that the lower nature is inherently bad. The lower nature is not inherently bad. The feelings and the emotions that you feel beneath the surface is not inherently bad. They are to be explored. What happens is the way that our brain interprets the way that we feel and the way that we react. What I need you to do is you need to compartmentalize. So let me just break it down for you in a way that seems very logical and very easy to understand. You went through some shit when you was younger, and now you have low self-esteem. Now you do self-destructive things. Now you are a people pleaser. Now you are easily made jealous. Now you have a lot of shame and guilt beneath the surface. As a result, you do petty, vindictive shit. You make other people's lives miserable for no reason. You're a supervisor at a job. You pick on people. And that is the actions and the behavior. But the energy that is fueling the actions and the behavior starts with you having had those terrible situations as a child. Then you had these bad feelings of you not being good enough, you being a bad child when you really wasn't. You were just dealing with a mother or a father with very low patience and poor emotional stability, right? And you became people pleasing and you became an easily triggered ass bitch because of it. And listen, I cuss, so just bear with me, okay? And then you figure a way to cope with this by attacking what you think might eventually end up attacking you. You're very fragile. So you see somebody at the workplace, you're the manager, you see somebody at the workplace who kind of makes you feel uncomfortable or unsettled for one reason or another. They're not really doing anything, but they're making you uncomfortable. They're triggering these things within you. Instead of sitting down and exploring why you feel this way, which is exactly what you're supposed to do when you're triggered, you're supposed to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And get quiet in your spirit long enough to hear the fucking answer, right? So you're supposed to ask yourself that question, but instead you go with the actions and the behavior that you are accustomed to, which is bullying people, That's what makes it evil. The feelings, the emotions, and everything that happened prior to is not the bad thing. It is the behavior that you use to cope with the feelings. But here's the kicker. Okay. If you explore the feelings, you release the feelings, the behavior shifts. If you explore the feelings, you release the feelings, the behavior shifts. There you go. You're an asshole for sure. Why? Because you haven't explored what made you an asshole. And even deeper still, you haven't felt those emotions all the way through. As soon as you feel those emotions, you running and you numbing. You're going to get you a pack of Zods. Okay, to numb yourself. You're going to get you some drinks to numb yourself. You're going to go and have some sex or harass your baby mama or your baby daddy to numb yourself. You're going to yell at the kids and find something to harp on to numb yourself. Okay, you're numbing yourself. And you continue to engage in this behavior, and the feelings behind the behavior never get addressed. And so therefore, you walk around this earth being like a tyrannical asshole, destroying everything in your path because you have to feel on top all the time. You have to feel empowered at all times, but you have to feel empowered by stepping on somebody else's head. That's what makes you feel empowered, making other people uncomfortable as you are, because you cannot handle the vulnerability behind the emotion. You cannot handle the vulnerability behind the emotion, the feelings of weakness, the feelings of worthlessness. You can't handle it. Why? The suffering stage. As I said before, nobody can go through that stage for you. So for all y'all who got 1,000,001 enablers, excuse makers, flying monkeys, people who tell you, oh, it's okay, or the people that walk around and mask their feelings, there is a transformational period, and most people don't get past that. So all they do is just put on a new mask. They pretend to be a nicer person. They mirror other people, but deep down inside, they still the same motherfucker. Why? Because when it came to going through the suffering phase, as I keep repeating, They ran from it. They went back to their vices. They went back to coping. And those bad feelings that they're supposed to feel all the way through is not being felt, so it don't get released from their body. It does not get released from their emotional memory. And I'm not going to go too deep into this, but those things take on a life of all their own. They actually become actual entities and almost like a figure that operates independently of you. Why do you think you got such low impulse control and you can't control yourself and you act all unhinged? Because you actually got a fucking what they call demon, but it's accumulated through the energy sequences of poor behavior. As a result, oh, it's raining out there. As a result, oh, it's so beautiful. I love rain. As a result of avoiding those feelings that you don't want to feel. You keep telling yourself, I'm going to do better, I'm going to be better, but you don't have control. You don't have control. And now, more shame. Now you got more shame. So now, when more shame comes, more covering up, more mental gymnastics, more bullshit. Because you don't want to feel the suffering that is required for the transformation. Period, point blank, simple. When I don't know if I will have to ever do this again. If I do, I just know, look, it ain't pretty. I'm not going to come on here and lie to you and blow bubbles up your ass like the rest of these spiritualists. It ain't pretty. It's not a pretty sight. I went through 1 year of crying almost every fucking day uncontrollably. Woo! Go rain. I feel like SWV, rain down on me. It's raining out here, y'all. Shanice, what's up, sis? Make sure you comment. Make sure you share this. So I went through, when I was going through the suffering phase, as I call it, I went through a year of crying uncontrollably. I went through a year of depressive feelings on and off. I had to get a therapist. A therapist, yes. I went through years of therapy. I had to reach out to my wounded inner child through, now, listen, y'all don't have to be on board for some shit you ain't never heard before, okay? I need us to grow up in the spirit and stop thinking everything that we know right now is all that we need to know. There's more to it than this. There's layers to this shit, and we always uncovering it. So I had to go through a psychic cleansing by connecting to my wounded inner child and reclaiming her, reassuring her, but she was a sad, depressed child. And I had to build this broken child back up. And when I reintegrated her back into my psyche, she was on life support, energetic wise, mental wise, and all that. But I knew that spiritually, I had what it took to help her to grow, to be a full and out grown aspect of my psyche. So I invested in her. Oh, I ever so many demons too. Oh, they was mad as fuck. They came for me like motherfucking demogorgons and Stranger Things, bitch. Okay. And they was fucking with me. I'm talking about a lot of motherfuckers was just walking around triggered because what had happened was when I reached back out to my younger self to reclaim that aspect of me, that part of me was cut off from me. And what replaced it was an artificial aspect of myself that I had entertained for years because I was avoiding that inner work. I, like many other people, thought that I could jump from going through trauma to being a happy person. All I needed to do is get the right religion. At first I thought that, or the right spirituality, or the right man, or the right job, and none of that shit. It served as a great distraction, but I always kept coming back to that point of avoidance. And it would frustrate the fuck out of me because I didn't want to deal with it. Because I was avoiding the suffering phase, as I keep pointing out to y'all. I didn't want to feel the somatic cleanse of my nervous system. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with, because what it feels like is, and it might feel different for different people, but I will tell you what mine felt. It felt like electrical current going through every aspect of my body. I would lay down in my bed and I would kind of like gnash my teeth and scream in agony. Nobody ever told me about this, but I knew that if I kept avoiding this, I was never going to get to the other side, because apparently all the shit that I was using to try to avoid doing this work was just not working. I kept coming back to it because either those people would be removed or that job would be removed. And I was like, this shit sucks. But it wanted me to see. So maybe that's my higher self had already made that contract within. I know some people are much more stubborn. They're going to keep avoiding. They're going to keep bullshitting. They're going to keep running from that feeling, having to feel that feeling, having to go through that, yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, rebirth, transformation process. But I felt those feelings all the way through. Times of embarrassment, times of shame. Okay? Why was I people pleasing? Why was my self-worth in the fucking gutter? Why was my self-esteem low? Why did I let people manipulate me and convince me of certain things? And another thing is, you're around so many avoidant motherfucking people that they're going to give you avoidant motherfucking advice. Thank you for the avoidance advice, but no thank you. This is not for the weak. This is for the strong. This is for people who want to get that weight off their chest, who are tired of carrying pain, who are tired of lying to themselves, who know that they genuinely got something on the other side, which is a treasure, who want to walk in their truth. And what also ends up happening is, once you get through this, you think you're going to open up gifts. Like, oh shit, I got all these new gifts. Where the hell that shit come from? You know, I'm not a singer, but damn, I notice I sing better. I notice I write better. Clarity. Things come into my mind faster. I'm quicker on the draw. More cognitive alignment. More confidence. More expedience on getting things done. How is this possible? And I said, damn. Because see, if it wasn't working for me, I would not be selling y'all on this shit. On my mama, I would not be selling y'all on this shit. Because again, I'd be honest with you. Years ago, I might have needed, I don't need the money. Thanks. But I don't need the money. But I do want to see other people genuinely rise. And if I could be a catalyst to that, so be it. But I'm not going to be a catalyst to that for nothing. You're just not finna. I don't let people squander my gifts anymore. These shits, like Kendrick Lamar said, this dick ain't free. This gift ain't free. There's a lot of grift out there. You can go find it. It's all over the internet. But this right here, I'm staying solid and genuine. And the good news is, because I don't need the money, I can fucking do this and be genuine about it. Because there may be a time where I might have to tell a client, we have come to the end of the road because I am not a licensed therapist or a psychologist, and this is something that you need. This is something that you need to focus on, or you need this in conjunction to what we're doing here. This is shadow work and transformation coaching so that you can claim your best self. Because 2026 is going to be snatching wigs. I promise you. What's up, Christy? Make sure you comment. Make sure you share this. 2026 is going to be snatching wigs. I promise you. I said this in 2020. It was true then, and it's motherfucking true now. And so let me give you this analogy, then I'll begin to land my plane. When you see people like President Trump, and I really literally most of the time don't call him president, but hell, if Freudian slip, I guess he is the president. Shit. But when you see Trump doing the shit that he's doing, like bombing Nigeria, bombing Caribbean people, and of course they give you some phony fake ass reason for why they doing it. Everybody knows bullshit. I mean, everybody knows bullshit, right? So what you are seeing is the last ditch effort of a specific regime and reality that should have retired itself a long fucking time ago. And that's white male dominance. White male dominance based on colonization. They feel that they can terrorize and destroy others to continue to maintain their dominance, their rulership, and their control because they have nothing else. They have nothing else, nothing of substance, nothing of true, genuine light to offer. They're just a pain, a pestilence, a fucking thorn in everybody's side. They're just going around. And now that everybody is not singing their praises and uplifting the white man and exalting him as the ruler of all they survey with a bunch of admiration, these motherfuckers are crashing out. Now they're talking about white men are being discriminated against. I don't doubt that there are some cases of white men being discriminated against, but the truth is they're mostly preferred. And also the truth is that what's happening is they're just not leaning on white men as the end all to be all. Their mediocrity is being put into view. And people are saying, well, I want quality. And I want it cheap. And what they found is that they can get quality from brown people, but we'll accept less. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So rather than get a mediocre white man who they got to pay top dollar for, they're going to get an excellent brown or black person that they can pay a little bit less. That's just the way that it is because of corporate greed. And they want to, and white men are having a hard time because they have had so much built up around them, undeservingly so. And even some white people are fighting back about this. Most of the videos that I saw going against this whole ideology of white oppression is from white people. They're like, get the fuck out of here. But he is the last ditch effort of a consciousness that should have retired about 1,000 fucking years ago. They have literally been maintaining their power structure and dynamic for the longest. And you know why? Because as I just illustrated, they don't want to go through the suffering. They don't want to accept that a lot of you are fucking mediocre. Sorry to tell you. You cost a lot and you don't do that much. And you think that the world revolves around you. Yeah, the United States might be responsible for maintaining that, but that is their suffering. That is the suffering that they have to endure. No, you're not better than any fucking body. We lied about that too. That's what America needs to tell them. You're not better than shit half these people. Like, really, like all these people. All these people I would fucking benefit more from than you. That's their suffering. And then maybe they get to the other side and actually do be great. Who knows? I mean, I'm not denying them their greatness. I'm just simply giving you what it looks like on a larger scale to watch people avoid the suffering phase, the brutal, raw truth phase. This is what leads to your transformation. A lot of men want you to do the same thing for them as women. This is the reason why I backed away from them. Their egos. The shit is annoying. You want me to tell you you're the greatest, the most wonderfulest, the this, the that, the that, the that, the this, bitch. You want me to create a whole motherfucking magical world where you just the shit, you the king, all you survey. And that's not what I'm experiencing day to day. So that means that I gotta cast illusions, spells, dispersions, motherfucking pour into you, ego, walk around, dance around your ego. And women who are doing that, they look very, very drained. Priestesses and witches who have to constantly lie to men about how great and wonderful and impactful they are, they're not doing too good. They look very, very, like the life force is being sucked out of them. And they keep doing it. Why? Because they have been conditioned and groomed to believe that this is what a good woman does. Well, I have to step back from that. And the exchange here is that, yeah, they're getting a lot out of you. But because it's intangible, they make you feel like it ain't shit. Because it comes from feminine energy, they make you feel like it ain't shit. The gag is they can't live without it. The gag is they can't live without it. So they can't live without your feminine energy, your compassion, your nurturing. Woo, rain down on me. They can't live without any of those things because they don't organically create them for themselves. But they undermine and downplay what you provide for them. And so because of that, and we know the trick of the patriarchy, because we're smart women, okay? The reason why they must invest, because it tells you everything you need to know. Was you really here for a conquest? Or were you really here because you genuinely want to fuck with me? And the financial investment is what shores that up 60% of the time. I know that's not a great number, but at the end of the day, what it does for you as a woman is a lot of y'all are off men because you gave so much and you got so little in return. And I'm not absolved from that, but who put that template in your head to think that you should give so much and get so little in return? And then also undermine and downplay what you contribute. Since you know they're going to do that anyway, because that's a trick of the patriarchy. The investment is what shores things up. The investment is what gives it balance. That way, if you do leave the situation, you're not leaving feeling so empty, so drained, so defeated. Looking out for yourself is not evil. Choosing yourself is not evil. They just taught you it was. Especially black women. We just supposed to give it all away for hopes and dreams that other motherfuckers gonna do well in life. That is the craziest shit ever when you really think about it. But we've been tricked. We've been bamboozled. In the year 2026, as we are rushing towards the age of Aquarius, certain energetic alignments are going to crumble because they cannot exist in the frequency. So therefore, those who have not dealt with their shadow just becomes a prominent aspect of who they are. And you start to see that shadow coming before they even open their fucking mouth. Because this is what the age of Aquarius is doing. It's snatching wigs. It's exposing people. And it will expose you if you're a little bit kooky. It will expose you. Not that these things are always got to be violent or criminal, but things that you are embarrassed or ashamed of will be seen, especially by anybody that operates as a clairsentient. And I didn't say empath because that's just become one of those things that I just despise hearing. Okay. But as a clairsentient, because it's just so overdone, you know? meaning that I'm a person that interprets energy and emotions. I don't read minds. I read auras. I read energy. I don't know how to read your mind. You could be thinking something else. But that's why I used to piss people off, because I would read their energy. They'd be saying one thing, their energy would be saying another, and I'd be busting them clean the fuck out. It wouldn't be on purpose. It's a natural gift. So it's not something that I was like, saying to them to try to get a rise out of them, even though they would be triggered. It's because I noticed the dissonance. I noticed the lack of congruence from what they were saying versus what their energy was communicating. And I would always communicate with them based on the energy that they was communicating, not the fucking words that they say out of their mouth. People say a lot of words out of their mouth because they want to control the narrative. They want to control the outcome. And so what ends up happening is, just imagine that the frequency of this time that we are going through is so high that people are coming through and they are being exposed because it cannot be covered. So the shadow is just going to be seen. This is the reason why, and this is a spiritual thing, the Trump administration is basically coming out and saying, yeah, we white supremacists. Yeah, we white supremacists. We damn near KKK adjacent. I mean, shit. They all got the hoods on, honey. They just got on their pig suits, okay? They shiny pig suits. But otherwise, that can be interchangeable with a hood. And so, therefore, they can't hide it anymore. The whole Epstein debacle, deplorable, disgusting. The more that they expose this president, the more awful shit he's going to do. We do not know what he's going to do next. A tantrum is on the horizon. I'm telling you. So get prepared. Get prepared, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Get prepared. So with that being said, as I said before, January, I will be starting to take clients again. And, that's going to go throughout the year. You can book whenever you're ready. People who are already Patreons, email me. We'll see where you're at, and then we'll see how much of a discount you get. And then, I hope that you have enjoyed. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share this. Make sure you keep plugging in, because honestly, I think I'm back on. I'm back on. Sis is back on. My sauce turned back on, y'all. The water's overflowing. I'm grateful for it. Now, I might not be here a lot and all the time because I got other things going on. But when I do come here, I just at least hope to be impactful. So with that being said, love y'all and peace.